Support for Radio Friends comes from OsteoStrong. Improvements in bone density, strength, and power can be achieved by weekly 5-minute no-sweat sessions on their 4-spectrum machines. These isometric robotic machines safely emulate high-impact loading on different parts of the skeletal system, which stimulates activity in bone-building cells. Balance and agility can be improved by 2-minute sessions on vibration plates. Every session is supervised by a trained coach. Learn more on Facebook or call to set up a complimentary wellness assessment and session. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, April the 15th. Normally this would be tax day, but it's been postponed for another month, I believe. But we're not going to talk about taxes right now. I want to introduce you to Jean Howard. Jean is with the Missouri Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Good to have you here.
Thank you,
Jean.
Paul. Thank you for having me.
And today you wanted to deal with the difference between a dietitian and
a nutritionist.
And a nutritionist. Right. So I think of them basically being the same, but you said that's not true.
I think most people think of them as being pretty much the same, but there are a lot of differences. And if you're not aware of them, you could be fooled into doing something that is not healthy for you.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the difference here?
Well, anyone can call themselves a nutritionist. You could do that. Your friends can do that.
I can call myself a nutritionist?
Sure. There's no legal definition of nutritionist in Missouri. There is a legal definition of dietitian in Missouri, however. So Anybody can call themselves a nutritionist. And if you want, you could take a 4-week online course and call yourself a nutritionist with a certificate. It's still not recognized as a legal definition in Missouri, however.
But a dietitian is?
A dietitian is, yes. Well, a dietitian has had at least 4 years of college to get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree now in science. So the science includes psychology and biology and chemistry and nutrition, of course.
So that's why if you're in the hospital and they say, I'm going to send a dietitian up to talk to you about how you need to change your diet and eat, that is a licensed person.
Yes, it is. It is a licensed dietitian. They are the ones who are qualified through all their education, and not only education, but they have supervised practice that they're working under another dietitian and under physicians in their training before they can be called a dietitian even, so that they can provide you with the information you need.
How does a dietitian know what information to give you as far as improving your health?
Well, a dietitian kind of acts like a detective. So they take your medical history and your lifestyle and your work habits and your exercise habits and your eating habits, and then kind of also check out your mindset about eating. And they come up with an individualized plan for what would be the best thing for you to do in order to take care of your health.
Can you look at somebody when you're giving them advice and tell whether they are actually going to pay attention to what you're saying or if it's going in one ear and out the other?
Oh, yes.
You can tell?
Yes, you can. And a lot of times, I mean, you do fit what you say to that person, and you can tell that the things that you really want them to do, they are probably not going to do it. So then you modify it to make it something that that will help them and that they will actually do.
Have you ever come to the point where you say, I know you're not really paying attention to what I'm saying, but your life depends upon it? Have you ever had to do that?
Maybe not so bluntly, but you do need to emphasize to people, and especially when you see someone who has had some life events that are really affecting their health, and you know that food has a lot to do with that you do try to make sure that they know how important it is for them to adopt a few new habits.
As a whole, what would you say that the population, that the biggest mistake that we make in our eating habits?
Well, I think foods that are really high in fat and sugar are kind of glorified. You know, you see, let's indulge in this, let's indulge in that, when really the best foods are the fresh fruits and vegetables, and they have such flavor. And of course, then also they include the vitamins and minerals for people, but they really, they're good eating. They're very good eating, but but our society kind of glorifies let's have a good time and let's
Right.
eat all these fried foods.
But I've also read, and I think most dietitians would say that, you can eat almost anything you want as long as you eat it in moderation.
That's
Is
very
that true?
Yes, that's very true.
Okay, so that
Yes.
is true. You can have fried foods, you can have sugar and cake and ice cream, but eat it in moderation.
Right. Right. That's very true. And also, any change in your eating habits, the most successful people, I think, change them gradually. It's not like, I'm going to have Fat Tuesday today, like we did, maybe before Lent started. Fat Tuesday, and then tomorrow I'm going to follow a strict 800-calorie diet. Doesn't work.
What about, I heard a story on NPR several months ago about the fact that most Americans only have about 20 different items in our diet on a regular basis. We don't have enough variety of food in our diet. And each different type of food has different vitamins and minerals and maybe trace minerals that are so important to us.
That's very true. I totally agree with that most people do not eat more than 20 foods in their diet. So it's the variety that is great. So choosing, if it's just a fun exercise, I think, just to write down all the foods that you eat, and then when you narrow it down, when you group them by groups, you know, it's like beef,
I did that.
potatoes, yeah.
After I heard that story, I did that because I thought, I eat more than 20, but you write it down. I think I came up with about 25 or 26. So I was trying to broaden the scope and bring in different types of fruits and vegetables, because we tend to like one type of fruit and vegetable, and that's
Everybody
all we
has
eat.
their go-tos, I think.
Right. So we want to try to expand as much as we can, and especially we're going into spring and summer. Sample some of the new items from the garden or the farmer's market.
I think a lot more people are interested in growing their own food, and it's very easy to grow. Even if you just have a deck with a pot, you can grow tomatoes.
Oh, and there is nothing as good as going out and picking a tomato off the vine. Especially, I plant about 5 or 6 different varieties of tomatoes, but I like the little super sweets.
Oh,
Have you ever, the little
yes.
cherry super sweets? I think they're called 100 super sweet. Oh my goodness, they're like candy.
They are like candy, yes.
I pick them. I go out to pick them, and I end up eating about 20 or 30 before I get to the house.
Well, they are high in vitamin C and antioxidants. So.
All right. So if people want more information, what website can they go to?
If I were them, I would go to eatright.org.
Eatright.org. Gene Howard, thank you so much for visiting with us today and passing along some good information.
Thanks, Paul. It's always fun.
And I'll listen intently when you give advice. All right. If there's something you would like to hear or see, I would love to hear from you. Drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. And when you go out and about, please wear that mask, okay? See you tomorrow. And smile under the mask. You'll feel better with it, too.